Hello and welcome. My name is Errity Green, and today I am bringing you a reading on your message from the stars. So I'm really looking forward to being able to share this reading with you. In the meantime, I extend an invitation to you to like, share, subscribe, press the bell icon. That way you receive notifications every single time a new reading pops up. You can connect with me on Facebook. I think that's my primary social media at this point, or my website, erritygreen.com. I do have a course out right now. It's closing in just a few days, but if it resonates for you, if this reading lands for you, that might be the place for you. You can check out those details at erritygreen.com/healingmadesimple, or if you visit my website, you can click on courses and you will find all of the information there. So without further delay and no further announcements, I will place a picture up now of your 3 card piles to choose from. As always, you are choosing from left to right. All right, card pile 1, your message from the stars. So I chose from a few different decks today, but I did decide to pull a card from my ACT deck, which is something I usually don't do and is special for today. So the primary theme of your message is living is doing. Pick one small action you could do today that takes you closer to the life you want to live. Put down this card, or pause this reading, or when it's over, go do that action step. And what's so interesting is we open with that card, and then almost all of the rows of your cards have to do with taking action. All right, so you're definitely being given the message about moving forward. So it feels like the transformation that you seek is in the changing or the doing of your choices. It's in the implementation, it's in the action steps. So somewhere, somehow here, you're not quite taking the action or making the choices that are lined up with where you want to go, where you want to be, or who you want to be. I'm not getting any past energy just yet. We might as we go in the reading in terms of why that is, or if there's been a blockage or resistance on your part, more than likely if you're getting this message. But I feel like the primary or underlying message is even less about that, and it's more like the transformation that you seek is in the doing. So for perhaps some way or somewhere, somehow, like we already said, you might not have even realized that. You might not have realized like, oh, I just need to start doing the thing, or I need to start taking the action, or I need to start putting my money where my mouth is, or I need to start taking those baby steps. So we're going to get more information as we go. But ultimately, it's like you want something for yourself. I can feel this energy of really, maybe even, for some of you, desperately wanting something for yourself. Or even if it's not desperate, it might just you might have this gut knowing, or this felt sense knowing that something greater is meant for you. Something is calling you. Not all of you even know what that is, but I think most of you have an idea, and it's saying, yes, you get to have that. That's yours. So start taking the steps to get there. Of course, that's going to look different for each and every one of you. I think most of you have a general, or at least vague sense of or idea around what that action is, or the choice that you need to make. Some of you, it might be something simple, structuring your life in a certain way, creating more space for something, for a passion, for some kind of implementation. For some of you, it might be clearing things out of the way or moving in a certain direction. Above all, though, it's like all you have to do is move toward it. That's the overall message for you right now. Yeah, it's saying like you might not be fully satisfied or fulfilled right now, or living the life that you desire, but it's saying that's because you're not in full alignment with what it is that you want. Now, as Errity, I don't always love when we hear, oh, you're not in alignment, or you need to get things in alignment, or whatever, because it almost implies that we're not in alignment. And I feel like we are always in alignment. Everything is meant to be. We can accept ourselves right where we are. And yet, let's just say if you want to be Z and you're at D, you have a few steps to take before you get to Z, right? So it's not so much like you're doing it wrong. It's more so that if you want Z, you have to move toward it. So, it's less this message of you're doing something wrong, or you're wrong, or you're not in alignment, and more of this message of, hey, there's something that you want over here, then you'll have to move toward that. Yeah, it's saying you're seeking something. I don't know if it's because these messages so far, this one at least, I say these, I've only done one row yet, but this message has been very much, it's been a little bit vague, but in general, it's saying whatever your personal happiness is, whatever your version of success is, whatever would bring you contentment, peace of mind, satisfaction, prosperity, success, whatever that is, it's on the other side of this. And it's just a matter of taking that action of, we have the picture of the Aries ram here. It might also remind you of the chariot and the tarot. That's the energy that we're talking about here, is getting things going or getting going. And there's a message too around when the going gets tough, we keep going, or we get going, right? As opposed to backing up, sitting down, giving up, holding out, or whatever. When the going gets tough, we get going, right? So there is a message of continuing to move toward what it is we want, even if there's some obstacles or something gets in our way. Let me see what else is here for you. Yeah, it's assuring you a win-win outcome. It's assuring you prosperity. It's assuring you the outcome that you're seeking. Card pile 1, your message from the stars is all about whatever it is that you seek, whatever it is that you want or are wanting or believe is due for you. It's a matter of keeping going, keeping your eye on the prize, keeping going. I feel like there's a new way of being that is occurring for you. You might even be experiencing some kind of quote unquote energetic upgrade, some kind of transformation. Usually I get a lot more specifics, and today I'm not getting that for your pile. And it could be because it's so varied and different, but it could also be because what I tend to find in my readings is if Spirit, God, Great Spirit, Universe doesn't want you to focus on the past, it's not going to give you energy about the past. It's not going to sit here and retell the story that you already know, or even talk about the obstacles or hurdles or whatever it is you're going through that you already know. It wants to give the energy and the focus and the attention, the emotional energy even, to where you're going. And I think that's actually the whole point of the reading. And that's why we keep getting action, with it's just being affirmed, instead of getting new information. It's like saying the same thing. What you want lies ahead, keep going. What you want lies ahead, keep going. So perhaps you haven't realized that. Perhaps you haven't seen that what you want is on the other side of this. Perhaps something has stopped your action, thwarted it, paused it, something, or you've been held back in some kind of way. There does feel like a deep transformation or even cellular healing or energetic transformation for some of you. That's not going to be the case for all of you. So perhaps there's been some space that's being taken in order to accommodate for that. But ultimately, you're integrating a new beingness, a new version of you, the next version of you, the one that's going to be able to and pursue this new experience, this version of success, fulfillment, happiness, peace, or peace of mind that you seek. There is something about here living true to what you're saying you want, living true to what you say, matching your words with actions, your intentions with actions, your dreams with actions, your aspirations with actions. Not so much just talking about it or daydreaming about it. Now, for some of you, you're going to be like, I am taking the action. And so that this reading would much more be for you about an affirmation or assurance that what you want is on the other side of this. And this reminder, this nudge to keep going, keep moving. What you want is on the other side. There's a really big transformation that's happening for you here. And a lot of that old energy is shedding, or it's already gone for many of you, actually, as I said it, but some of you still shedding. And that's going to continue to occur as you build and keep going on this forward momentum. That stuff's going to be shed. You're going to shed your old skin, and then you're going to experience what it is that you seek on the other side of this. So it's trusting the action, moving forward with that action, and prosperity does lie ahead, card pile 1. So do let me know your experience, your specifics, your circumstances and details. Especially didn't give us a whole lot. Now, we don't want to give too much voice and attention to the story or the past because it didn't give energy to that. And I always think that's purposeful, but I do want to hear from you. I want to hear how this is resonating. And of course, if it does resonate, I encourage you to like, subscribe, share, press that bell icon. Of course, check me out on Facebook and go to my website, erritygreen.com. You might find some things that you like there. And I do have a course out right now called Healing Made Simple. I'd love to see you over there. Thank you, card pile 1. All right, card pile 2, we are talking about your message from the stars today. So your overall message here, and the theme was so clear when I was pulling cards for you. I think it's about leaving behind an old set of circumstances or beliefs or narratives or whatever about your life that might be thwarting progress or holding you back or holding you down or otherwise not doing for you what you would like it to. Okay, so today I did share, or I am sharing from a deck I don't always share from, and I love this deck. It's called the ACT deck. I do believe it's in the description of the video, but I'm going to open with its message. So name your story. You are the author of your life story. What would you choose to name the story of your life so far? How is that different from what your mind would want to call it? Now, I feel like there was a message here as I was sharing this is, what do you want the name of the story to be moving forward from here? Because I feel like, again, your message is all about, it's like you're looking for something, you want something from your life different, but maybe you haven't stepped out of an old way of being, or again, an old narrative. Like you might be playing the same character, but wondering why you're not experiencing the experience of another character, right? When we watch TV shows and movies, there might be all these different characters we relate to or resonate with, and maybe there's one character that we are. Maybe we're the side character who kind of always gets the, what are they called? Chopped liver. There's a saying for that, where we're getting like the remnants, the leftovers, the breadcrumbs. We want to be the main character. We want to get all the good stuff, right? So you might be saying, I want to be the main character. Where's mine? When is it my turn? When do I get it? And it's saying, this message is like, well, when are you going to step out of the old story though? When are you going to step out of the old circumstances, conditions, experiences, mindset of that old story, of that old experience? So most of you who are listening are going to know what that is for you. I think it's going to be clear, but it probably is going to feel something like it's going to be some kind of story of disempowerment or limitation or quote unquote victimhood. As Errity, I don't love that term, but we use it to help identify or understand a disempowered state of mind, or when we live from a disempowered place. So it's saying you might be saying you want one thing, but are you actually following through? Is it just lip service, or is it true for you? Are you doing what's required, or are you giving yourself excuses, or living true to limitation as opposed to possibility? It's like there's this energy of like saying you want something, but then not actually following through on what it is that you want. Okay. Sort of similar to even card pile 1, but different in feel, different in vibe. It's saying what you want requires some kind of adjustment. So if you're wanting to go fork in the road kind of thing, if you're wanting to go path A and right now you're on path B, it's going to require you to steer A and not keep going down B. And I think that's why we opened with that message around what is your life story, or what has it been so far? What was it in the past? Whatever that intuitive hit is that lands for you, whatever that name is, okay, that was the past. Now asking, okay, what is it going to be for the future? What would you like it to be? What adjustments are required to get you to step into that new paradigm, that new experience? I feel like it should be relatively distinct for you, and you'll be like, oh my gosh, like, wow, maybe your past was insecurity, or your past was, like that might be what pops up for you. I know for me, a lot of my younger years were insecurity, proving my worth, convincing or trying to convince others or myself of my own value, lack of self-worth and self-love, et cetera, et cetera. Yours might be something like that or something totally different. But the point is you're saying you want something, but are you still living by the truth or the voice or the narration or the narrative or whatever of the old story of victimhood, of disempowerment, of you can't, of you won't, or it can't happen or won't happen for you, or you're too far gone down this path, or you grew up this way, or it's been this one way for so long, right? We all have excuses. And it doesn't mean excuses aren't valid, because, hey, as a single mom, I have a lot of excuses about what can't happen for me. And then I have to learn that, oh, wait, there might be some truth to my excuses, but if I ultimately want something, like let's just say, for a long time, I wanted greater health and I wanted to be in the gym again and doing all these things that I used to do prior to motherhood. I had all these excuses. I don't have time. I can't get up in the morning, blah, 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 blah. Endless. I could give you a whole book, write a whole book and all that. All right. We're not going to do that today. I'm not going to bore you. Okay. However, I had those. And then something shifted in me where it was like, there are no more limitations, excuses, like nothing. Like my mindset shifted. And then I started seeing the openness or the availability for a new path, for a new potential. And I started seeing how, oh, wait, I can drop off my son in the morning to school, and then I can work out then before I then go to work. And I was like, oh, that's how I'm going to fit it in. That's where I find the time that I didn't have before. Okay. So it's going to be different for you, obviously, with your conditions and circumstances, but you have to be willing to let the old truth go in order to embody a new one. And that's the main point for you, card pile 2. Okay. Yeah. It's like, okay, you want something for yourself. And I feel like you've been in whatever this paradigm or pattern is that feels like it's holding you back or down, and you might not even realize. For some of you, I feel like it might be relatively unconscious, where you're not even seeing it fully or seeing it clearly, but something is holding you back or down. It's like you've been in this pattern for lifetimes. You're meant to step out of this. maybe not meant to as much as you do have an opportunity in this lifetime to step out of that pattern, to step out of that paradigm, to step out of that same old role, the same old character, like the side character in the movie we were talking about. This is a great opportunity this lifetime to step out of it, but it's going to come down to how you talk to yourself, to what you believe, to what you tell yourself is true or not true, what you tell yourself is possible or not possible, what you tell yourself you can do or not do, right? It's going to have to do with self-belief, belief in life, trust in that, trust that you can leave this behind, and then actually leaving it behind. But it's saying, this is a great opportunity for you. This is a golden opportunity, card pile 2, to step out of this old way of living, of being. There's some kind of impoverishment here, some kind of lack, scarcity, limitation, feeling held back, feeling bound, feeling tied up. Feeling like you can't, feeling like it can't or won't happen for you, that'll never happen for you, never did happen for you. It's going to look a lot different for a lot of you. I feel a broad spectrum of experiences here that could be down to, again, even financial impoverishment, or it could be, not being able to move forward in a career or a job or provide for your family in some way. It could have to do with relationships or toxic or unhealthy relationships, or it could have to do with their hard or soft addictions. It doesn't have to be any one of those, but it's that kind of energy of there's a disempowered pattern at play. And in order to carry on or move forward or experience different results, it's going to require you to step out of that old mindset, step out of the old beliefs that things aren't possible, and to move into the future. Now, as I'm sharing about that, something comes up. So either this is being given by spirit, or it's some, not belief, but some talk that is happening for you on the other end as the viewer, where it's like, it's not just mindset. Of course, there's trauma, and trauma can happen over the course of lifetimes, and then we develop these stories around it and these beliefs around it, and that's how we talk to ourselves. And the next thing you know, we're just playing out this pattern for lifetimes, okay? From something that happened eons ago. So it's not like it's our fault, but we can take responsibility now, and there is a golden opportunity now. And as you begin to shift into the possibility that things are possible, that you can have blank or you can do blank, that's when this other energy is going to be able to start shedding, because you're opening up the possibility for something new. So the old energy is then available to leave. If you're still identifying with the old story and the old energy, that trauma remains. That's just energy, right? Of some form. It's going to remain because you're identified with it. You have to find a new identification, new belief, mindset, whatever, in order to accommodate a clearing out of that kind of energy. And right, we don't just it can go so deep. This work goes so deep because we don't just say goodbye, this part of me, see you later, sayonara. It's much more loving and caring than that. But that's a great way to look at it in terms of the energetic perspective as to what's happening. Really, it's a deepening of intimacy with self and our vulnerabilities, while also clearing out the old energies that are holding us back or have held us back. Yeah, it's saying, you're destined. There is a potential here for you to be destined for a greater future, a greater vision, a greater dream, a greater aspiration. But it is going to require you to change that commentary, change that narrative, change the thoughts, change the story about what you believe is possible, or who you believe you are, or what you believe is possible for you uniquely. It's like, what stories have you internalized or owned, or what identities are you still claiming, or roles are you still claiming that really aren't serving you or this big dream? It's like, I feel like, first of all, you long for something different, yearn for something different. You might not even say that all the time or tap into that all the time, but it is dormant. It is there. For some of you, it might be alive and well, but it does feel somewhat subconscious for some of you. Maybe some of you have just defaulted and forgotten altogether, although you're here. So I would imagine you're pretty conscious about all of this. With that said, there is a greater dream available to you, but it is going to require you to step out of one story and into a new one. All right, card pile 2. So that is your reading, and that is your message from the stars. I do want to hear from you. I want to hear your story in the comments, your circumstances, whatever details you would like to share. I invite you to like, subscribe, press the bell icon if you want to receive notifications. And do check me out on Facebook. I'd love to see you over there. You can check out my website. I do have Healing Made Simple is a live course that I'm offering right now, and you can check that out on my website as well, erritygreen.com, and click on courses. Thank you, card pile 2. All right, card pile 3, your message from the stars. So I'm opening today with a card from my ACT deck. I don't always share this one. I do believe it's in the description below, but I'm going to read from it, and then we're going to get into the reading. So this one says, focusing on healing. The thoughts, feelings, sensations, and memories that you most want to rid yourself of, the ones that make you want to hide, are the ones that need your attention and compassion. Focus on those for 10 breaths and notice how you feel afterward. Now, not everybody can do that, especially if you are in a position of acute PTSD or even chronic PTSD and don't know how to hold space for yourself. If that's the case, maybe get some support before you follow the exercise. I believe most people can make it through 10 seconds like it suggests, but not everybody. And it's okay to own that and get the support that you need. But ultimately, we're going to go ahead and dive into the reading. Clearly, yours is on healing, but there's something more specific here. So I feel like you might be going through a challenging time. We could call it an initiation, where you're being moved through a series of experiences that sort of, it might feel intense. It kind of gives you the energy of like a snake shedding, but like the intensity, the pool, the tight pool of that skin that has to come off of the body, and how it kind of, you have to wrestle it out a little bit, and it may feel a little bit uncomfortable. It may feel like there's pressure there. There might be some intensity. You might having to like wiggle and writhe around a little bit. It may not be the most comfortable experience. And it's saying during this time, while you are moving through this, and I would imagine, because we opened with the healing, so thoughts, sensations, feelings, the things that you want to get rid of, and we're talking about bringing more compassion to those things, is that you're probably going through like this birth canal, so to speak, where all of that, you might be experiencing thoughts, sensations, feelings, all this overwhelming stuff. It feels really intense, and it's really you kind of squeezing out of this, shedding this old skin and coming out anew. It's saying take some time for yourself. What do you need right now? And be 100% honest with yourself about what you need. Is it simply to do nothing? Is it to take a bath? Is it to hydrate? Is it to spend some time with family and friends and kind of even, even though it says get closer to your thoughts and feelings, but forget about things for a while. It's just like being honest about with exactly what you need and giving yourself that. Is it time in nature? Is it time to hear no one? Whatever is required, it's like giving yourself the space for this sort of unveiling and or resurfacing and or kind of renovation almost to occur. It's like you're going through an initiation right now that is bringing you to a place of greater personal power and potential for your life. So it's something that you've said you wanted and you've set your intentions on, and something that you really do want for yourself. But again, it may be bringing some things up for you that might not feel very comfortable. They aren't pleasant, or it's just not fun. And so again, you're encouraged to take that time for yourself, do what you must, carve out that space to really be present, to support yourself, to comfort, nourish, soothe, self-soothe. What are those things that really bring you some soothing? You might even look back to the things that made you feel really good or comfortable, safe in childhood. Is it reading a book or retreating to a tent or a space in your house? Whatever it is that feels safe for you, finding that space or sense of safety, and I don't want to say clinging to that, but making that a foundation of your experience at the moment while this other stuff clears out or sheds or whatever. It's interesting because all the piles today, I've gotten zero energy on the past for the most part, in terms of like there hasn't been much focus on, hey, this is what's been happening or what did happen. This is what you need to focus on. It's all been about present and future. So like what you need to do now and where you're going or where you're headed or what to do, as opposed to let's talk more about what's happened in the past. But it's saying whatever you need, is it camping out? Is it a fire under the stars? Is it calling a friend? Sort of whatever your safety net is. Well, there was a show back in the day, I think it had Regis Philbin, might age me, but it was like probably early 2000s era, and you could win money on the show. If you guys remember the show, comment below. I want to hear, because I do not at all remember what it was. Was it like, say you want to be a millionaire or something like that? I don't know. But anyway, lifeline. Whatever your lifelines are, go write them down. What are your lifelines? And in those deep, intense moments, I know we said get closer to those thoughts and feelings, but for many of you, I am feeling the pull to tell you, write down your lifelines. When you're in a moment of terror, or you're in a moment of deep need or desperation, go to those lifelines. We're talking healthy lifelines here, people. All right. We're not talking about, going into toxicity or whatever. Listen, you want to know what one of my lifelines are? And I'm 100% serious. Like, as a latte from Starbucks. All right. So I'm not saying it has to be like some perfect, healthy, conscious vegan thing. But I'm not telling you to go on the street and like search for things. All right. Not that. But whatever your lifelines are, being honest with yourself. This is where I'm at right now. And this is what really soothes me. And this is what I need. It's calling a friend. It's calling mom. It's reading a book. It's going to the beach. It's whatever. Having those things written down so that when you hit those moments, you can go to that. 1, 2, 3, those options, those lifelines for yourself, and get that support. But then outside of those moments of like 10 out of 10 desperation, or even 8 out of 10 desperation, and you're more so, you might even measure it if you want to evaluate it that way, 1 through 10. Okay, 1 through 5 means I can handle this, I can meet myself with great love and compassion, I'm going to do my workbook or my journaling or my prayer, and I'm going to do some meditation or yoga, and I'm really going to hold and carry myself here. When I know I'm at a 1 through a 5, I know I've got this. Okay, when I start edging between 6 through 10, and where I'm hitting desperation or fear or terror or isolation or whatever, where you start hitting up against those really intense, overwhelming feelings where you feel like you're unsafe or you're going to die or something like that, that's when you'll use those lifelines. And for some of you, as you edge closer to 8, 9, 10, I think for most people, it's going to be reaching out to another human, just to be honest or to be fair here, because we get to a point on our path sometimes in those really isolating terror kinds of moments where it's like, a latte is not going to cut it, all right? Because I'm going to drink that latte and then I'm still going to be there, or I'm just going to feel bad, doubly bad, like adding insult to injury. Okay, I felt freaking terrible and now I've just downed a latte and I feel absolutely no different. So those lifelines might be those people where you reach out. I've said a couple of different times during my experiences like this, where I'm like, I've told my sister, hey, her being one of my lifelines, I might just need to come over and stay at your house. I don't know that I need that, but I'm letting you know because I'm in a space of just feeling overwhelmed with my experience, and I just need to see another human. Is there someone out there, right? So it might be staying the night at someone's house, or getting away, or getting in, or whatever is required for you. Evaluate your progress, see where you're at. 1 through 5, you can handle it. What are you going to do? You're going to, like we opened with, really hold yourself in a space as much as possible of love and compassion and tenderness, being gentle with yourself, being graceful with yourself, letting yourself hurt, feel the pain, cry, whatever is there. If you need support, bringing those emotions up, if it feels like it's kind of there but not being edged toward it, you can ask for support to help move that energy. You can ask for support to help move and then eventually clear that energy, or to know what you need to know, get clarity, or voice something you need to voice, or you might even journal. But then when you hit 6 through 10, you might hit up those lifelines instead. Hey, my sponsor. Hey, my parent. Hey, my sibling. Hey, my friend. Hey, my safe place. Now, there is a reassuring message here that you are going to leave this experience behind. So card pile 3, if for a second you were, or even for a moment or for longer, you were worried or concerned that this might be your reality for the future or for forever, please know you do leave this behind. This is fated. This is destined. You do leave this behind. But, take your space to process. Let yourself feel what's coming up. Take the necessary steps. Get the support that you need. But take a look. We open with this, but then look what's assured. You do leave it behind. You do find that freedom. And on the other side of this, I do believe that you find more authenticity within yourself in terms of who you want to be, where you want to go, what you want to do. On the other side of this, you do find a changed person, a changed life, a changed vision, a changed experience of some form, of some kind. I feel like ultimately what it's saying is that there is a positive result here. There is an ultimate good outcome here. Through the thick of this, there might be a thickness to this, an intensity to this. There might be some kind of thickness that you feel, heaviness, tightness that you feel. This will eventually be relieved, and you will come out of this on the other side. Again, if you're feeling that pressure, the intensity, the tightness, any of those things, it's reminding you of that feeling of a snake shedding skin. And the key here is getting close and tender and gentle with yourself, so you don't have to hold on so tight with fear, because sometimes when we hold on so tight with fear, what ends up happening is we're more or less identifying with the old reality, and then that shedding of the skin can't happen, right? So like there's a snake, there's a skin that's trying to leave, and we get too scared, it's going to be stuck now, right? Because we're not flexible enough for it to leave. So it might get stuck there for a second. So as much as we can get flexible and open and available and receptive and create an open and neutral, kind of more flexible, I can't come up with more words, container for this to move through. That's sort of like that surrender that we're talking about. The more this stuff can sort of, again, move through, do what it must, say what it must, be what it must, and then also carry on, right? Everything, a lot of things come, but all things go too. So we don't want to hold on so tight where then it comes, but it doesn't go. And I know that can be a scary thing to say even too, because people are like, well, wait, I definitely want it to go, and I don't want to. So you're saying if I'm scared, I'm going to hold on to it. Now it's just going to stay. We're humans. We're going to get into tight spots. Things will be bottlenecked at times. That's part of the journey. It's part of the process. But the more we can get from a place of this within ourselves and get to this, and whatever is required, right? The space, the security, the safety, the support, the lifelines to help us get to the space where we can open up and let that stuff move on, carry on, let go, be released, whatever, that skin to be shed. That's what's going to be the key for you. Yeah, again, holding on tight. We have another kind of message around holding on tight. But there's also this message of, there's a goodness to feeling empowered and competent and sort of going at it alone if that's a part of your process. But there's this other message of, allowing yourself to be vulnerable and tender and honest. If you need the support, ask for it. If you need the lifeline, make it happen. Not feeling so, I guess, prideful that you're not able to get the support, the help, the safety, the security that you seek, so that you can actually ultimately support this healing process that is wanting to happen for you. And it's saying you can trust this. This is, you can trust your path. Nothing is quote unquote wrong. Of course, this is a reading. If there's something that's actually physically wrong, or you are physically or emotionally unsafe, please be the one to judge and discern that for yourself. But it's saying spiritually, energetically, you can trust this period of your life, this chapter of your life. There is a method to the madness. There is a purpose to the quote unquote pain. There is a purpose to this process that's ultimately going to deliver you to the other side. So I believe that's your reading, card pile 3. That's your message from the stars. If this lands, resonates, of course I want to hear your story in the comments. Please do share your details and circumstances if you feel safe and comfortable to do so. It sounds like you are going through a trying season, time, or period, card pile 3, and my heart is with you, genuinely. I really made this as practical as possible. Well, it's not really it's spirit, but that's always an intention of mine anyway, as a facilitator on my own, as it is. Do reach out and get the support that you need, whether it's a therapist, or maybe it's a sponsor, or maybe it's a friend. Do the exercises that I said in here so you can get the support that you need. And I'm sending you my love, long distance, or virtually. If you do want to connect with me, of course, you can always find me on Facebook. My other social media links and so on are down below. You can visit me at my website, erritygreen.com. I do have a course out right now called Healing Made Simple. You can find that at erritygreen.com and click on courses, or erritygreen.com / I think that's how it works, right? Healing Made Simple. But if you feel like you're deep in the throes and the feels and the traumas and all that, you might get support from a therapist as well, if that feels better suited. All right, card pile 3, I'm wishing you all the love in the world, and I will see you next time. Thank you.